Welcome to the Kiwimana Bay.
Hi there. Well, it's a beautiful, beautiful day here in Kiwimana or Kiwi Nirvana land or awesomeness or banana land, whatever you want to call it, here we are. And it's Christmas 2015 yesterday, so we're looking at a lovely calm day where we can just enjoy our passion. And over there we've got a new prototype of a bench hive, and it is going to be filled with bees today. And the colony that's going in is right there next to it, so I've given them about a week to orientate to that area, so hopefully they will pick it up pretty quickly once I move the queen in. So that's what I'll be doing today. Now this is the beauty, and this is one of our new projects that we're working on, and we hope that it's going to bring a lot of pleasure to the lifestyle, urban backyard beekeeper or hobbyist. And so today there's an inaugural moving in. That tapping method that I use is just to really say to the girls, look girls, it's me. And most of them will know me because I've worked these hives for a few years, and they're not too bad with understanding that I am going to open the hive, and I don't over smoke them. Three-quarter. This frame has got lots of brood on it, new larvae. There's a few drones still, a few eggs, so they're looking very healthy. Maybe if we're lucky we'll see the queen. Now this colony is actually in a solid bottom board box. This was an original queen that we split this season, and she has performed really well, and that is pretty full brood, so it's looking good. Oh yeah, and a few waggle dances in there, so the nectar flow is definitely on. This is great because it just shows you how old the comb is. So part of this new process that we'll have putting this into this bench hive is that we're going to try and change the frames into fresh comb. So, but that is a long process, so we'll just focus on what we want to achieve for the girls. They've absolutely reduced the amount of drones they're laying now. They're more focused on nectar gathering, so we hope to see a lot more of that in the next box, but this is just the first box. So what we can do, because this is how this hive is designed, is that we can put this hive mat just over the girls to keep them calm.
What do you see as the advantages of a bench hive as opposed to a Langstroth?
Well, as you can see, I'm bending down to get into this other colony, so I find that with the bench hive it's going to mean that you're only operating at one level, so I think that's a strong advantage. This is one of the remaining frames from the original split that we got last season, so we haven't been able to swap that over. But it's being moved further out to the edges of the brood box so that we can actually put fresh stuff in. And spring gives you that opportunity, spring and summer, to get rid of some of your older frames and get them built up and then place them in next to the brood so that they can start spreading into that new comb and everything. See on this one, which is very interesting, is that this is newer season brood, so it's a lot whiter and it's very even, so the queen's got an excellent laying pattern, and of course it's a wooden frame. They just seem to like it more, and they are just doing so well. So I will move this black frame out one. And move this lighter one in. And they're both brood frames, so they're still within the brood area, but just moving that black one out a bit. Now this is definitely the frame that you'll have on the outside of the brood because it's got pollen. You can see the different colours. It's got lots of pollen. On the other side there's nectar and pollen, so that's perfect to put on the end of the brood frames, and handy for them to feed, so you don't want to split up so much that they can't feed. And here's a new frame that I put in, but they haven't really done much work on it. So hopefully with this new bench hive they will start working a bit wider now. But we'll see. It's all part of the journey with this.
If the second layer had brood, what would you do then, Margaret?
I would try to put all the brood in one place, but I don't want to spread it too far so they haven't got enough access. So that's one of the things I think we're going to learn with this bench hive, is where we should place everything. But with each 5 I can put another cover over, and it seems to be keeping the girls quite calm. Okay, now we're going on to the next level. Generally what we've found is that with our Langstroth is they usually keep the brood in the first and second boxes, because we run our hives with 2 full depth boxes all year round. So the way it works is that they have their brood mostly in the bottom, then the second box is going to be a box with the fluctuating sizes of the population, and then when you start getting honey flow the population moves and declines upstairs, and then they start using this as a honey box. And what we do for the girls is we try to manage the nectar flow so that they can fill that top box with honey, and then naturally the brood is moved down to the bottom box. But then they go into winter with a full top box of honey, and then the brood and a bit of honey at the bottom. Oh, and this is one of the newer frames. They have started putting nectar in here, so nectar flow definitely on. I think when you're working the bees, you should try and stay calm, because you can see that the girls aren't really attacking me. But I still won't not wear a suit, because I think that I don't want to risk getting stung in the face. This one, another frame of nectar, which they're starting to cap at the top. No brood in here. Oh, and guess what's in this one? Brood. A lot more brood. There's some larvae. This is a good frame. It's got honey at the top, so the food source is nearby. Putting a bit of nectar in, so that indicates to me that they need a bit more space. So hopefully moving them today will help with that.
So you'd add that with the other brood boxes in the bench hive?
Absolutely, yes.
So Margaret now is locating the other brood, and I'm putting this brood with the brood from the first box.
There's the queen. Here she is at the bottom of the frame. So you can see she's laying quite a bit, and in terms of if you want to assess this for a split, this colony actually would be prime for a split, and she's doing a wonderful job. Now I need to be careful putting this frame back in so we don't damage her. So I just keep an eye on where she is. And there she is. Because she goes to the edge of the frame, you know, that's pretty risky. So we need to make sure we don't crush her. It's alright, girl. Just go down into the next frame. So that's it. There she goes, she's gone on to the next frame, so that's wonderful. So I put all those brood frames within the two side pollen frames and nectar, and yet we still have an extra frame, and I've got 4 frames to go. If they're all full, then that does indicate that these girls need more space for nectar flow. So that's an indicator you can use, that if you're getting nectar in amongst your brood, then you need more space for your girls. The prototype comes with a whole lot of foundationless frames. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in and see them raise it. I know that with these prototypes there's a few people who are trying them out and they are using foundationless, and it appears that the bees are drawing quite well and quite even on them. So I'm not sure whether it's because it's a longer space and because it's got the bottom bar, but it seems to make a difference. So that's the other thing that we'll be doing while we do this project. Okay, so what we'll do is we will put one of these foundationless frames in next to 2 frames that are already drawn and see what the girls do with it. And then I'll also add one on the very end next to where the nectar flow is, and we can put in a divider board, or some people call them a leader board, so that we can keep it in an angle where they can draw it straight. So we'll pop that one in and see how that goes. And then we'll put a divider board in, but now I'm just going to put the smaller hive mats back on. You can see the girls do remain pretty calm. So I'll put one drawn comb, one self-drawn one, then another drawn one. And then next to that again we'll put another self-drawn one with a leader board or a divider board next to that. I decided against putting the divider board in there because they need some more room, so I changed my mind in midstream and I've decided, as women are allowed to do of course, and move it along to the end. So I think the girls will like that. Okay, so this is the entrance to the hive, And I'm just going to put this hive mat there, and what will happen is that it will draw the girls to the entrance because the queen pheromone is in there now, and slowly they will start walking into the hive. We're just working it out now. You can see them busy checking it out. So
would it be better to remove the old frame hive box or leave it there?
well, they are going to communicate with each other, and the way that I work is by, I mean, I could brush everything in and rush and do it in a very fast manner, but I think the nicest thing that I like to do with the bees is to let them use their instincts. And they are now starting to go into the hive. Here we go. Yep, they just click. There's the queenie smell. Alright guys, well, you could see that the bees were starting to walk into the hive. They now smell the pheromone of the queen. So I'm putting this divider board in next to a self-drawn frame, and next to that is a foundation frame. So foundationless frames next to a foundation frame, and then the divider board will go in there. And now I will just start putting the hive mats on and enclosing the girls in their new colony. And you can hear the buzz. They're just trying to spread that pheromone around. Sounds awesome. That's it guys, all done. Thank you. Thank you for taking time to watch. Awesome! Bananas! Watch this space for this product.